Also tonight, Governor Phil Scott delivered his fifth budget address to the General Assembly, pitching what he called a balanced budget with bold investments in the economy, infrastructure, and climate change. State House reporter Devin Bates joins us now with details on the governor's remarks and how other state lawmakers are reacting.
Governor Scott's administration believes this $6.83 billion budget paves the way for pandemic recovery in all corners of the state, while also seeking to address issues that were here long before the pandemic arrived.
We must support our communities, children, businesses, and healthcare system, care for our neighbors, and lead a recovery that reaches every county.
Governor Scott wants to set aside $210 million for a set of one-time investments in broadband access, climate change, and economic initiatives, as well as $10 million towards projects to boost outdoor recreation. He's also looking to address lagging tourism with a new marketing fund and rejuvenate Vermont towns by increasing funding for the Downtown and Village Center Tax Credit Program, which Scott himself helped launch 15 years ago as a legislator.
It supports much-needed projects that create new opportunities, like ADA compliance work at Martha's Kitchen in St. Albans, doubling the childcare capacity at the center in Craftsbury, and supporting Jenna's House in Johnson to provide recovery and other services for those impacted by substance abuse and the opioid crisis.
There was an emphasis on infrastructure as well, $680 million for projects to improve Vermont's roads and bridges, and the long-standing struggle of expanding broadband access was front and center, with Scott proposing a $20 million package to get high-speed internet to more homes and businesses in rural Vermont, with hopes that the federal government will also take up the cause.
Let's face it, if it were easy or affordable, we would have done it by now. We're going to need the federal government to treat high-speed internet access the same way they did electricity in the Rural Electrification Act of 1936. I believe with the help of our influential congressional delegation, they'll follow through.
Governor Scott's budget would also send an additional $20 million to Vermont state colleges as a one-year bridge, a proposal that came with a warning about the system's unsustainable trajectory.
It's my hope the State College Board, in partnership with the legislature, will continue working to address the underlying structural issues we face. Because this is a one-year bridge with one-time funding, and we know this level of funding is not sustainable.
I spoke with House Speaker Jill Krowinski after the governor's address, and she said it will be particularly important to make sure that $210 million in one-time investments is allocated smartly and strategically.
I strongly believe that we need to work together to create a recovery plan that leaves no Vermonter behind, and that includes improving access to broadband, childcare, and housing. I was very happy to hear the governor highlight funding for some of those.
Now, in my conversations with House Speaker Krowinski and Senate President Pro Tem Becca Balint, both said they were disappointed that Scott didn't set aside some time to discuss the state's mental health system.
There is a lot of need right now around our mental health system, and so I was surprised that there wasn't even a nod to perhaps some either targeted investment with one-time money or some additional funding to the base in those programs.
Devin Bates, Local 22 News.